Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, March 21st, the day after the first day of spring, and we have a lot to cover for you today. First up, Google's Back Cuts went ahead and announced they penalized a guest blogging network. His tweet specifically said, "Today we took action on a large guest blog network, a reminder about spam blah blah," which he linked to his own personal blog about how guest blogging is pretty much dead for SEO purposes. That being said, it turned out that it's believed, although Back Cuts or Google has not confirmed this, that the network is specifically myblogguest.com, which specifically has to do with Ann Smarty's service. Ann Smarty actually confirmed that they did get a penalty. She thought that the publishers would not be hit, but in fact, Google did hit the publishers. Back Cuts confirmed on Twitter that yes, Google will take action on publishers who are associated with a specific network often. And in fact, we have a bunch of people claiming, this is Matt Cutt saying that, and we have a bunch of people claiming that he actually got a lot of manual actions, plus they saw a ranking drop. So that was the big thing that happened this week. This was incredibly hilarious or kind of sad. Okay, you know this, right? You know that buying links or doing link manipulation is against Google's guidelines. We know that, right? But there are people who do it. Obviously, still people do that all the time. But if you're going to do it, you don't do it over a public forum or public social network. What we had here was a guy named Vince from webdesign.org publicly post on Twitter asking T-Mobile and some other people. The T-Mobile was the most hilarious. Asking T-Mobile, "Hey, do you want to renew the link that you purchased with us about 2 years ago?" Now, it didn't mean that T-Mobile actually purchased it. It could have been somebody else who purchased it, or it could have been just a totally joke. But if you take a look at the Twitter stream, "Hey guys, what's the best way to contact your link manager? We don't have an email, blah, 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 blah." And he basically goes ahead and says, "You or the person who works for you placed a backlink 2 years ago. That big link is now up for renewal." And they ask, "Where's the link?" The guy says, "It's over here." That is like, all right, the destination, the link is over here, the anchor text is over here, the destination URL is over here, and so forth. And the anchor text is T-Mobile BlackBerry phones. So it's pretty funny. So T-Mobile says, "All right, thank you, we'll reach out to you to renew." Obviously, this social media person has no clue what they're talking about. They don't know what links are. So you really can't blame the social media person for it. But you kind of like, Vince, what are you doing? Seriously? I mean, T-Mobile's going to blow up. Somebody's going to get fired from this. You don't do that over a public setting. It's just ridiculous. Other news, Google has penalized more link networks overseas, specifically in Spain, Italy, and Germany. So Matt Cutts tweeted, "Today we're taking action on a German link network, specifically named eFamous, and also a German agency network that violated our guidelines." And one of the Google webmaster people over in, I think Spain. I'm not sure. I think Spain. He wrote this. Can't pronounce it, so Matt Cutts translated. We've taken action on Spanish and Italian link networks that violate our guidelines. So Google's constantly going after these link networks. Speaking of which, there are a lot of people talking about a lot of different downgrades in page ranking changes and shifts over the past week or two. I think there was no algorithmic push or update. I don't think there was a Panda update. I don't think there was any of these types of updates, although the algorithm is constantly tweaking things. I think a lot of people see these major drastic downgrades are related to all these manual actions. The My Guest blog networks, Spain, Germany, Italy, Poland, France, all these networks are being targeted now on a manual level, and Google's actually targeting a lot of these people. So I think that's what's going on. Speaking of which, XMX West, again, was last week. We had a lot of cool news come out of it. Here's some other things that I wanted to discuss. Google's Back Cuts said mobile sites, for the most part, only impact search results. So he said this at XMX West. I thought it implied that mobile sites will not just impact mobile search results, but also maybe impact desktop search results. And Matt Cutts said, "No, right, I'm not correct on what I'm saying." He tried to clarify that that's the most part, mobile should only affect mobile rankings. What does most part mean? So that's my question. That was interesting, obviously an interesting tidbit. Google's John Mueller said that there's basically what's going on is people are threatening, spammers are threatening websites that have been spammed to remove the spammy links because the site who spammed is actually getting penalized for spamming. So now these websites are threatening the good website, saying, if you don't remove the link that we put on your website as a spam tactic, we're going to go ahead and use a disavow file to disavow your website, and ultimately that will hurt your website because we're disavowing you. Now Google said, no, you can't threaten somebody with a disavow file to hurt them, because disavow, if I disavow your site, it's not going to hurt you. The disavow file doesn't hurt the person who's disavowing. It just removes a link from that profile. So you can't use that to threaten somebody. This is an interesting video. So Matt Cutts answered a question, can I place breadcrumbs on a page? Multiple breadcrumbs on a page. The question in detail was, many of my items belong to multiple categories on e-commerce sites. Can I place multiple breadcrumbs on a page? Do they confuse Googlebot? And so forth. So Matt Cutts basically said, yes, you can place multiple breadcrumbs on a page. In fact, Google would only look at the first breadcrumb, but Google might look at the other breadcrumbs. Google might only count the first breadcrumb in terms of the links, but Google might look at the other breadcrumbs to figure out the navigational paths and where else that product or that item might be in your category structure. Now Matt Cutts said basically, if there's 20 or 30 or 50 different breadcrumbs, don't do it. But if there's like 2 or 3 or 4, you can. Obviously, most SEOs use the rel canonical or properly set up their breadcrumbs so they actually do not have multiple breadcrumbs and the product is only one place. Amazon does this and other sites, but not all sites do that. Here's an example of a site that has the same product in multiple breadcrumbs or multiple categories, and you can see that over there. Google offers some advice on items out of stock. So if you have an e-commerce site and the product goes out of stock, how do you handle that? The Matt Cutts went ahead and answered that in a video, and in short, the 3 bullet points are, if you have a really small site with a niche product that you have to build and takes a long time to build, on that product page that says out of stock, say here are some related items that you might like. That's okay. On a medium-sized site with maybe thousands of products, which is a medium-sized e-commerce site, you should 404 the page. But if this product is going to come back in inventory soon-ish, you should definitely say, hey, the product's coming back at this date, you can pre-order and stuff like that. But if it's not, 404 the page. On huge sites like Craigslist, Amazon, or auction sites like eBay, I assume, Google says obviously 404, but also you should use the meta tag unavailable after, so that Google can actually predict when that page will go offline. All right, next. Something you have to be aware of, sometime in the near future, Google Analytics and other analytics programs will stop reporting IE8 Google referred traffic. They're making some type of change to the search results. It's going to have an impact on analytics packages, so be aware of that. Google's going to fix it, but just be aware of that. Bing, you know how Google has a new feature where it lets you to actually do what's called app indexing, where if you do a search in your Android phone and an app comes up in the results, if you click on it, it might take you directly to a point in that app. It's called deep linking within apps, from web pages to the apps. So now Bing is actually introducing that. They haven't announced it formally, but they're calling it app linking, where you can actually link your web page content or the search result content. You can actually put links in your apps, so that if Bing indexes it, you send that to Bing, and they index it. If you click on it from the search results, it would take you directly to that place in the Windows mobile app. Specifically for Windows devices, Windows phones. Bing has not announced it yet, but it seems that they have a page on it that they did specifically talk about. So last week we talked about the Swiss Army knife and stuff like that, with me talking about stuff like that, where the Swiss Army knife is Google's knowledge graph and the publishers are the actual screwdrivers. If you didn't see it, watch that video, come back to this. Basically, the question is, do you fear the knowledge graph? There's a big webmaster role thread talking about this, saying, well, we really, as publishers, I don't think we should fear it, because it doesn't really always give you the answer that the user wants. It gives you some factual information, but sometimes the user wants to know how to do something or read more about it. So it's not something that you have to worry about. I don't know if I agree with that per se. For example, if you did a search for what is SEO, what comes up is the Wikipedia answer. Now the interesting part is, weeks ago or months ago, it actually used to be search engine land. The first result, organic result, is actually search engine land. Now, what happened now is Wikipedia has their answer above it. So we have the answer, and let's go ahead and show you in real time. Hopefully it works. Okay, so here's the knowledge graph answer. So you see the feedback link, and it shows Wikipedia. The first result is actually search engine land, and the second result is Wikipedia. So this is basically giving Wikipedia preference over search engine land, even though the first organic result is Wikipedia. So it's taking away traffic from the publisher. So again, that's a topic that you should be aware of. Cool stuff that came out from Google this week, Android Wear. It basically is an SDK, a developer kit for building out OS apps specifically for wearable devices like watches. And obviously a lot more is coming out of that. They just released it this week, and developers now have access to actually start building stuff for it. The first watches themselves won't be out till the summer supposedly, so you have some time for that. Google SSL search is now defaulted in the US to SSL search. There's no way around it really, or maybe there are, but that's now going global. It's available in China and stuff like that too. So keep an eye on your not provided. That's going to shoot up as well. It was St. Patrick's Day on Sunday, and they had this great logo. This was the one they had the year before, so this is more of a that. Also, Yahoo had a cool logo for it. Dogpile had a nice theme, big, ask.com, and Search Engine Roundtable. Yesterday was the first day of spring, so we had logos from Google, of course. Yahoo had a nice logo, big, ask.com, Dogpile, and obviously us. And finally, if you haven't seen this, go to your either Chrome browser, do voice search by speaking it, or go to your phone and go ahead and do a search for up, up, down, down, left, right. And basically what you'll see is this. I'm not going to play it, but basically what you'll see, do it for yourself. It'll be very funny. Say up, up, down, down, left, right from your voice search on Google, and it'll actually speak back to you a pretty cool cheat. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.